Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode, as we are going to talk about 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear. Before I start, I just wanted to give a special shout out to the 645 subs that I have. I can't believe it. I feel so unworthy of having that subscriber count. And it really just shows the love that people have for this genre of music. And I really hope, as I'm sure you do too, that this genre of music keeps going, that it evolves, and that at the very least, we can always look back fondly at the time period that indie music really dominated, which is something I think I'm really going to talk about in a future episode. Really just early 2000s indie. When I was researching for this song that I'm going to dissect today, 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear, I stumbled across a comment. I think it was under a live video I was watching of the song, that somebody just commented, early 2000s, really just, that's when indie rock came to full bloom. And it's so true. The majority of the bands that I've talked about on this channel, Arcade Fire, Block Party, Incubus, the early 2000s indie rock scene from New York City, of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, the Strokes, the National. I can just keep going. Arcade Fire's in full swing. Radiohead was just kind of coming off of its huge victory lap. And really, that time period was just amazing. But I need to stop it there because that's going to be a future video. We're here to talk about 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear. Now, Grizzly Bear, what's interesting is they are another early 2000s New York City indie rock band. I kind of forgot about them. I apologize if you guys watched that video I made about the indie music scene in New York City at that time. I neglected to mention Grizzly Bear. I do apologize for that. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of them because I think it kind of presents the picture that we're going for when they came across and made their song 2 Weeks. The band Grizzly Bear was first formed in the early 2000s, as I said. Horn of Plenty was their debut album, released in 2004, and that was followed by their second album. The second album was Yellow House, that was released in 2006, and at the time they were gaining pretty good traction. They hadn't broken through even in the indie scene yet. If anything, they were kind of in that underground indie where if you saw them live or word was spread through word of mouth, that's how you got to know them. It wasn't until their third album, which is what the song 2 Weeks is on, that really solidified them into the indie world. And that leads to the third album, Vecca Timist. I really hope I said that right. I kept on looking back and having to do research on it. That was their third album, and to date is their most widely known and popular album, and that is the one that has the song 2 Weeks on it. And so, what is 2 Weeks? Well, the song starts off with a very simple piano ballad, and the thing that really sets Grizzly Bear apart from many bands is it seems like each of the four members of the band Grizzly Bear, Ed, of course, is the lead singer, but all four of them can hit vocal harmonies and have very strong vocals in general, that really has become their signature style. In that song, other than the piano, you can say that harmony part, I wish I could sing it personally, but if you know the song, you know what I'm talking about. That almost hits right after the simple piano method, and I think one of the unsung heroes of this song is the drummer, because he is belting out uneven, different tempo, almost jazz stylish rhythms throughout the entire song, and I think he uses an acoustic brush rather than the drumsticks. I gotta kind of look into live performances of it, or more live performances of it. I've watched a few, but I noticed he was playing with the acoustic brush, which makes sense because that's giving it that light, airy kind of noise. And really, he just goes off, especially near the end of the song, maybe right after the second break. He just starts going crazy in the background. And if you are a drummer, you know and can appreciate the work that goes into that. That is not a simple thing to do, even if it sounds simple. They, instead of having one main lead guitar, they have a couple different synth and piano, I guess you could say, breakdowns going, and it's very interesting how it goes. When you first listen to it off the CD or off of the Spotify, or however you decide to listen to it, you could mistake it for a guitar, but they have a lot of synth going. They do have a bass guitar going as well. What makes this song interesting too is because of the simple kind of piano rhythm that plays throughout the song is very easy to sample, and it has been. Most notably was sampled by Childish Gambino in one of his mixtapes, and it's been used in commercials as well. It's been used in, I believe, How I Met Your Mother. It's a very widely known song now that has kind of been making its way in other entertainment ways other than their own band, of course. Now, the lyrics of the song. 2 weeks, some people, I know I've done research into it, say it kind of reminds them of you putting in a 2-week notice at work. I've seen many people say it's just kind of the slow demise of a relationship, where maybe you don't hate the person that you're with, and that's kind of reflected in the easygoing lyrics of the chorus. But at the same time, the relationship isn't trending in the right direction. And maybe it's just kind of trying to get through the mundane. Some people see it in a hopeful way, that, maybe it's just a way of acknowledging that might be how the relationship has gone, and that you're hoping that you can kind of get the spark back. Now, to kind of end our video today, sadly, Grizzly Bear did end up going on and making further albums, but it was said by Ed in 2020 that he himself has left the band. Sadly, it looked like Grizzly Bear was kind of taking a hiatus for a while. They might have even been on one, but I mean, you can't really imagine them going on as a band without him. So I want to hear what y'all think. Have you ever heard the song 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear? Would you agree with my summary of the lyrics? And do you think they'll ever get back together? I'll talk to y'all next week.